That and a neck warmer. I had to take my neck warmer off to come because it's like...
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Just us.
Just us.
Just us. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Kerri. Thank you for taking time out of your day and coming to sit with me and chat. And yeah.
I've kind of always wanted to have a cup of coffee with you. So this is basically that. We're just missing the tea or coffee.
Dang it.
So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is called My Favorite Life. And it's the first question that I ask. What does it mean to you to live your favorite life?
Favorite is a tricky word for me. Maybe I can say content. Slow. Intentional. Simple. Abundance and full of gratitude. Just like so content with whatever life stage you're in, whatever random job you're working, whatever paying your bills looks like that month. Just content, abundance, simplicity.
That's so lovely.
I'm working on it.
And my heart is saying, oh my gosh, that is easier said than done. And that's been one of my inquiries as well, is wherever I land on any given day, in any given moment, can I find the contentment? Yeah. And knowing that that point of contentment can also be some growth. So if that friction, that agitation arises, can I also find the contentment in that? And a lot of times it's the idea of slowing down that will get me to that point. And
being okay with just feeling uncomfortable for a bit and not like pushing that feeling away, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like sit in the shit for a little bit and then it might go away. Don't just push it away first.
Yeah.
That's a part of like feeling the friction, especially environmentally. Like if I'm in a new environment and it's uncomfortable, it's just like, okay, I can be here. It's cool. Tap in.
Yeah, and something that I continue to go back to for myself is in the feeling is the healing. I cannot get out of anything. I have to walk through it. Yeah. And if that means I'm walking through my own shit, being with it,
or
sitting with it.
Sobbing on your yoga mat, which I've done many times. Yes.
Beauty of a warm studio. Is it sweat? Is it tears?
Nobody knows. Except sometimes I was like, I've had several times where the person next to me has been like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm just grieving. Basically, I'm good. Yeah. I've even warned people next to me before, like, if I get really emotional, I'm just like in a heavy grieving stage. I'm fine. Because I think it makes people uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's just the place to do it.
Yeah. To be in that space of expanded consciousness, expanded physically as well, and just let it move through you. Yeah. Because emotion is the energy in motion. And grief is
energy
one of those
in
things.
Motion.
Yes. Yeah.
I've never heard someone say that before. That's cool. Grief is energy in motion. It is.
It is. Yeah. How do you ride that wave?
It's hard sometimes.
Yeah. So how do you ride your own waves of the energy in motion? Are there tips, tricks, tools that you've learned along your path that are like, yes, this is what works for me?
Well, I am a huge advocate of talk therapy. I always will advocate talk therapy, and I think everyone in the world can benefit. And also different therapists at different life stages is what I'm finding out also. But having talk therapy has given me lots of tools in my tool belt in dealing with difficult situations, whether it be life circumstances or brain health challenges or grief or whatever it is. So talk therapy, something that also works really well for me is I buy the chalk markers and write affirmations on my windows and my mirrors in my house. And I cannot tell you how powerful that is. Like, especially in a mirror where you're seeing your own reflection, it kind of like challenges your brain chatter if you're trying to change your brain chatter. Because your eye is like reading something different than your brain is wanting to think. So that has been really effective for me. And yoga this year, as I was saying before I broke up with Lifetime, which was like a huge deal for me because Lifetime was a saving grace for me in motherhood while my daughter wasn't in school yet because it would give me a break during the day. So there were days when I didn't even feel like working out, but I needed a break. But I was like balls to the walls girl at Lifetime. Like, I have that in me. I know I have that in me. I was born with it, but I also am realizing I have the yin in me too, and it's been like squashed for a long time. So that has been my main reason for leaving Lifetime and joining Power Life. And I was really nervous to do that because it is a night and day different experience. And I had done Power Life here and there, you know, the 10 passes or whatever, but it's never been like my thing, my main thing, you know. And I haven't missed Lifetime once. It's great. I'll be an advocate. It's great. But it was time for me to shift.
Yeah. So movement also becomes a piece of the therapy, a piece of the healing, a piece of the unwinding of any and all energy and motion that has potentially gotten stuck within the body. Because we know our body holds on to the stuff. It's the issues in our tissues. And so being able to use movement as a way to find greater flow.
Yes. So interestingly enough, I had 2 ecstatic dance experiences where I was leading the class. And then that night I had an anxiety attack, like in my sleep, like deep sleep, woke up, full-blown anxiety attack. And I had to link that, both of those times, to like shit loosening up in my body. And it was like coming to the surface. But I was like, oh my gosh, it works. Do I want it to work? Right? And then like same thing with yoga. Like yoga is just such a beautiful, soft, slow movement. And a part of my brain health journey last year and this year has been realizing I need more yin. I need to slow down. I had so many people in like 2 months tell me to try softer. Try softer, Kerri. I kept hearing that from people. And I was like, I don't know how. Now I'm starting to get it. I'm not there yet, but so that's a huge part of like softening and slowing as values of mine at this life stage. And contentment. Contentment is a big one right now because as a woman and wife and mother, I'm in this interesting transition where my kids are getting older and they're about to be in school full time. And I am transitioning out of being home full time. And I've worked random part-time jobs here and there when they've worked out, when they've served me, and it's fun. But I have brain chatter in my brain often that's like, really? That's all you're going to do is work at a retail store? Or that's all you're going to do? Like, you're so smart and capable. Why are you working at a thrift store? Whatever. So I'm still working on it. But that's where the contentment piece comes in, of just like being so confident in your skin at whatever life stage you're at. Because the transitions don't stop.
No.
You know, I have menopause coming up next, and I'm like, great.
Oh.
People start talking to me about it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to hear it yet. Like, I'm just getting to the part where I'm sailing smooth again. So, like, nope. Not gonna
Watch out. Here comes another wave. And
know.
just wave after wave. And then, your hormones get involved in that whole shift of body chemistry.
Yeah. Just
and
shifting, constant shifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in this whole shift of life, right now, what are you finding that is really lighting you up? That is helping you find the contentment, to find the softer side of Kerri?
Creating, crafting, and giving myself permission to do so without feeling guilty. For example, this morning, I made like an ice chandelier with watercolor paint and a cupcake holder. And at first, my brain was like, you're really going to do this by yourself? Like, you're almost 40. Shouldn't you do it with Rosie when she gets home from school? And I was like, no, I'm going to do it now by myself because I found it and I think it's cool and I'm worthy of having fun creatively. So creating for sure. Movement, especially through the form of yoga, because yoga forces me. And I'll even catch myself in yoga like tense and hard and rigid. And I'm like, no. Leave that at the door. You're getting rid of that here, And when I leave the yoga studio, I just feel like whatever situation I'm walking into next, I am ready to be so present and intentional, which I want more and more of in my day and in my life. Instead of just like going through the flow, being on autopilot. Because in parenthood, a lot of things can feel that way sometimes.
And I think our culture perpetuates the hustle culture.
Yeah.
And just the go, and multitask. And does multitasking really exist?
Yeah.
If you are like 5 places at once, what is actually getting done?
I have really been paying attention to societal messages of what our brains receive as normal and what our children are picking up as normal. And the hustle society is something that I'm really working on right now. And I am not only trying to slow and soften for myself, but my children are watching. They're watching all the time. And my 9-year-old has started to say, Mom, we have a tour de lait tomorrow. Can we wake up and have a fire as a family? And I'm like, melt my heart. Yes, we can. And my 4-year-old always says, let's go on a family walk. So just like instilling that softness, that you can have fun and be with your people without spending money and flying to Mexico or whatever you do to try to increase your dopamine. So yeah, I lost my train of thought there, but again, softening and slowing. You had asked me, the hustle culture. So yes, society says early bird gets the worm and work hard, play hard, and makes you feel like you have to work hard before you can rest, that you have to earn your rest. And a part of my mental shift over the last year has been like deprogramming some of those societal scripts of like, I feel really tired right now. It's 4:00 in the afternoon. I'm going to lay down and close my eyes for a half hour. And I'm going to tell my kids that I'm going to do that. And I'm going to say, I'm fine. I'm not sick. I just want to rest my body. To teach them that is normal. And that is okay. And if you have a full day of just rest, it's okay. You don't have to earn it. And just the idea of hustling towards success. I think about the pressure that our kids have in school to perform and to be in all the things. And all the things. I can't tell you how many. There are some people who choose, and if this is you, it's you. You do you. Awesome. Every night of the week, boom, 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 3 activities, 4 activities, got to split husband, wife to get everybody where they need to be. And we're just not doing that. And I don't want to, because I want to teach my kids that home is safe, home is soft, home is fun, and you can create that yourself. So, yeah, I feel like the theme for me right now is soft and slow. And just, rewriting those societal scripts of, because really, we're like brainwashed.
Oh,
I had a mentor tell me that I was deprogramming. That's the word she used. And I was like, that's fascinating. I sound like a robot or something. But she was like, literally, you are having to change the script, the habitual thought in your brain to something else. Because society teaches us A, and you're trying to do B. So as a 40-year-old woman in less than a month, I am proud to say, I am working on being proud to say, I work 12 hours a week at a consignment shop in West Des Moines. And it's fun. And when I leave work is there and it's low stress. Am I privileged to be able to do that? Yes. Gratitude. But do my husband and I choose a certain way of living and a lifestyle that also allows me to do that? Yes. I don't know what your initial question was. I just rambled a lot. But
That's all right. I think it comes down to making choices that really align with who you are at the core of your being. Yeah. And I think for a lot of us, what our core is gets so covered with the societal norms, with culture, with the patterns that our parents or our grandparents, like generations of just this masking. And so, yeah, it is this idea of derubbling, deprogramming, like, okay, what is my wisdom?
Yeah.
What did I come to this body, this vessel to do?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's work, and it's hard work.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
On one of my windows in my house right now, I have slow and soft is the new success. And instead of asking myself, am I being productive, or is this being productive? I try to ask myself, is this thing life-giving? Because how many things during our day in a week's time do we do to be productive? But if you ask yourself, is it life-giving? You might answer no to quite a few of them. It's just that like robot going through the motion thing that we fall into. So,
yeah. For me, it's been a journey over the last, I would say, 2 years of really coming back to my core and really finding the things that light me up and fill my own cup. Because I know, and what I do and what I love to do through teaching and facilitating and just offering the teachings of yoga, that I need to be full in order to give. And so that's been a lesson of like, yep, I cannot give from an empty cup. Yeah. Okay, let me pause. What do I need? And then it really comes to that moment of truth and really getting honest with myself, radically honest with heart wisdom, soul intuition, setting the ego aside.
Yeah.
Because the ego would continue to tell me to go, 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 go.
Right. Mine
Teach
too.
15 classes a week
Mine
and
too.
go, 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 go.
Like I said, I was the balls to the walls girl at the gym. Like, more weight, heavier weight, you can do it.
Then at some point, your physical body says, no,
No.
no.
And I can't believe the difference I feel physically only doing yoga. I mean, I jog every now and then, but mostly I'm doing yoga. It just feels good. Like when I was going so hard at the gym, I would just feel like tight all the time, tight and sore all the time. And if I wasn't sore, I'd be like, is this even working? Right?
No pain, no gain. There
Right?
it is.
There's one of those societal scripts, like, get her done.
Yeah. Let me push the pause button for a moment.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
But when you said soul intuition, this has been a big realization for me over the last year of my life, that I have put in the past tremendous pressure on myself to figure out like what my soul purpose is. And in my brain, I've always thought it was like one thing, and probably in the form of a job. And that has been part of my like deprogramming that script, because I'm like, literally in therapy, here we go. My therapist is like, there's so much more to your sole purpose of why you're on this earth than what you do for a job. That might be a part of it, but it might not even be a part of it. Like, your soul's purpose is how you do everything you do in your life. Whether it's coming up to a stranger in a new city, or having an intentional conversation with someone, or giving a gift to a neighbor, or hosting a party. It's like, that's what it is. And that's been a huge brain shift for me. Like, no more pressure to figure it out.
How you do one thing is how you do all things.
Yeah.
I had the realization maybe a month ago or so that I was leading a workshop in soul purpose and what is creating intentions and,
Should have been at it.
full spectrum of human living. And afterwards, I was like, you know what? My soul's purpose is my soul. And how I show up every single day, and what are the qualities in my soul that I want to bring forth into the world.
Yeah. And a job is just one limb on your tree. I mean, on most people's tree, it's like a pretty big freaking limb, and they put a lot of pressure on it. But it doesn't have to be, that's the rewriting that I'm doing.
Yeah. I lived with the narrative for quite some time of what I do for a living. Teaching, facilitating the practices of yoga was not a real job. And so now moving out of that narrative,
right?
Like, you know what? I have been doing this successfully for the last 13 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
What's a real job?
Right.
In today's world, what is a real job?
Yeah.
And guess what, Kerri? You get to define what's real for you. And that's been a part of this transition of like, okay, as my kids eventually are going to be in school full time, society says, well, what do? Oh, you go back to work. You start working 40 hours a week again. What else would you do? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. So I'm not going to do that. And that in itself challenges your brain a little bit, because your brain wants to give you a different script. Yeah. It's hard. So it's comforting to hear that you've had that before too, of like, what am I even doing right now? Is this real?
Yeah. And when I was living in that narrative, I would say that at least twice a year, I would be like, you know what? I'm just going to go get a job. I'm going to just give up teaching and just do something else. Because I was just in that constant state of like, oh, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not making enough money, and I would say the last 2 years now that piece of chatter, because it was coming from external source, but I took it on.
Yeah.
So it was then, I took on the internal narrative.
Right.
And now that external noise is no longer there, I've been able to flip my own script of, you know what, this is what I love, and I love what I do, and really how many people can actually say that.
Right.
So for me, it's like, okay, this is what I love. What are the different avenues that I might explore into that I can continue to put the love and the compassion and the empathy and the holding safe and sacred space, all of these things that are at my core body, in my soul being, how can I put them out into the world?
Yeah. Amen.
So, yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So when the obstacles, when the challenges arise in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you talked about talk therapy, and I love that you say brain health as opposed to mental health, as I still think there's a lot of stigma that you hear that phrase and it's like, so bringing it to this very physiological, this is your brain.
Yeah.
So if you could just speak a little bit more about maybe your journey, and I know you talked about affirmations of maybe a way to ride the waves and move through the obstacles and challenges. Just love to hear more of your journey.
Where do you want me to start with my brain health journey? And I've talked quite a bit about this in different podcasts too, so maybe I'll give the short version this time. So in 2019, I was dealing with anxiety and depression, and I had no idea that's what I was dealing with. I thought I was like sick. I was getting blood work done because I felt awful when I woke up every morning. I was tired. I just felt I was so emotional. And I didn't know that is what was going on. I had never experienced anxiety and depression before in my life, and I had never seen an up-close personal experience with it. So I trudged through, and then one day my brain started saying, you're a mess. People in your life would be better off without you. And I was like, holy shit. That freaks me out. I need to ask for help. So it was a Sunday when I decided to ask for help. I literally walked into an emergency room, Sunday afternoon. And my husband said, do you want me to talk for you? And I was like, no, I got it. And I looked at her and I said, I need to talk to somebody about anxiety and depression. And she goes, it's Sunday. I don't know what you want me to do. There's nobody here. And I looked at her again and I said, I need to talk to somebody about anxiety and depression. And that started the ball rolling. Long story short, I ended up in the inpatient program, stayed overnight for 4 nights. One of the hardest things I've ever done, one of the bravest things I've ever done. But looking back now, I know because of the education that I have and the tools that I have in my tool belt, if my brain health dips again, which it just did late fall into winter, like I said, I'm just finally starting to cruise again because I did a clean medication swap, change, whatever you want to say. But I didn't have to go to inpatient this time because I knew what was happening. I knew what to call it, anxiety and depression. I had already had experience with medication, so it didn't feel so scary to just change the medication. I'll never forget when I went to pick up my first prescription at the pharmacy, I was like sobbing because I was like, I have to take a pill for anxiety and depression. Like I was terrified. And it just felt like this huge thing. And I just wish there were more and more people. Like you remember the Me Too movement, like the hashtag Me Too. I wish there was that for people that are on brain health medication. Because when you start talking about it, people are like, me too. Me too. Oh, me too. Oh, me too. And it's crazy. But unless you have those people in your circle, you're not exposed to it. You don't know any better. So a part of my passion since going through those experiences has just been talking openly about it. And I can't tell you how many people have private messaged me on social media saying, Kerri, I think I need help. What do I do? And that is such a gift and an honor to say, you're good. This is hard. I know your brain's telling you some crazy things right now. You need to get an appointment for yourself. Okay? And if you don't know who to go to, I'll help you find one. You need to find a talk therapist, get going in therapy. But, that just wasn't a norm in my circle. I grew up in small town, rural Iowa, farming community. Nobody talked about depression and anxiety and brain health medication. So, again, softening. Because when I am in the thick of a brain health dip, how I get through it is grace. Giving myself permission to be soft with myself. What does that mean? It means if you don't feel like socializing for like a month straight, that's okay, Kerri. You're not in that stage right now. You're in a soft, quiet stage. Whatever it may be, that's okay, Kerri. Be gentle with yourself. Because again, in today's society, we don't have a script that tells us to be gentle with ourselves. Go slower. Try softer. What? It's work. So that's kind of been my journey in brain health. I am an advocate for talk therapy. I'm an advocate for medication. I'm an advocate for sharing your story. And like you said, taking the terrifying part of it away. Like I said, it wasn't as scary the second time I went through it because I was like, all right, I know what this is. I know what to do. I know what I'm going to have to do. It's going to be hard, but I can do this. And I didn't end up in the hospital again. So that's my journey with brain health. Yeah. And that's what got me into the slowing, softening, deprogramming, challenging your brain chatter.
I went through burnout roughly a year ago. And that's when I stepped into talk therapy. And I was also raised in a culture of like, you just didn't talk about it. And now for me, it's just like you, I know my markers. I know when I'm moving to that place of, okay, my nervous system is agitated. Like,
grocery store? Mall?
Well, and sometimes it will physically manifest itself. Like there's been days that I'll come out of a workout and my body is shaking. And it's like, okay, am I dehydrated or is it my nervous system is on that verge of burnout? And some days it's probably both.
Yeah.
So for me, it's okay, learning these markers and then where can I give myself grace?
Yes, because our bodies give us them. They do.
Yeah.
But either we aren't educated in what is happening or we know what's happening and we push it away.
Yeah. We have that trauma lens on where we only see like a few degrees as opposed to when you are in that state of parasympathetic rest and digest, like, oh my gosh, I see, I see, and there's conscious choice that can be made then.
Yeah. Conscious choice. I love that.
I had a thought and it vanished.
That's okay. That happened to me before too. It's all right. All the grace.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it just flew away. So yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah,
We've covered a lot.
Yeah. It's coming back to me. It's having people in your circle. And so the idea then of community.
Yeah.
And how community plays a role in your brain health, creating your favorite life, creating the softer, slower life. How are you finding that shows up?
Well, when you're going through some deprogramming, like we talked about, you have to be mindful about who you are spending a lot of time with and if their lifestyle and values are in line with yours. Not that you can't hang out and love people who choose a different lifestyle than you. You can. But the people that you spend a lot of time with, your community, the people that you turn to kind of lift you up when you've fallen a bit. So important that their values are in line with yours. So me in this life stage right now, working moms, I applaud you, man. I don't know how you do it. I do not know how you do it. But it's also because I can't relate. And it's just like the path I haven't chosen. So the people in my immediate circle and the children that my children play with are families who live slower, who choose to live on the simpler side of things, who choose to craft and create and keep their calendar open so that they can do things on a whim, unpredictably. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
And you can find, communities can be anywhere and everywhere. You can have a community at your local grocery store. You can have a community at your favorite small business. You can have a community at your chosen workout place or your chosen workplace. So when you're really serious about challenging your brain scripts, you have to be mindful of the circles that you put yourself in. Because they're either going to support you or they're going to challenge you and be like, what the hell is she doing? And if people say that about me, I'm getting better at being like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm cool. So
yeah, that's been one of my mantras is to love more and care less.
Yeah.
Like your stories are your stories, and I will love you, and for me that's also the beauty of this life is that I do get to live in the world of both and.
Yes.
Rather than the black and the white, it becomes this full continuum of living. And
so when my brain health is not in check, my world is black and white. Very black and white. And I learned the both and concept in therapy. Go figure. And that was such a light bulb moment for me. And it came up and surfaced for me in like deep grief. After my mom died and then after my mother-in-law died, they both died on Christmas Day. So I was dealing with like, how the hell do we do Christmas now? How am I supposed to feel on this ho, 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 it's the most wonderful time of the year freaking holiday? And I realized, Kerri, Christmas can be hard because you miss your people and it can be magical. Because there are magical parts of Christmas and your children are hoping and watching with these eyes. So the both and has been a game changer for me. Just giving yourself permission to feel more than one emotion about a certain circumstance or person or environment. Because most things are like that. Most things are like that. The black and white gets me in trouble. It's anxiety producing for me.
Yeah. My father passed away on my 37th birthday. And so birthdays have never been like something I really celebrated, but for the last few years, it has been, you know what? Yeah, my dad may have passed on my birthday, and I know he's with me every single day.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason I think he passed when he did, as a constant reminder of, Pep, I'm going to be with you.
No.
Yeah. So there's that sweetness even in the grief. And for me, it's then that reminder of, in the fullness of one is the essence of the other. In our deepest sorrow is our greatest joy.
Yeah.
Underneath our deepest wounding, there's the gift.
Yeah.
And it's, sometimes it takes work to unburden and to see the golden shadow beneath the darkness.
Yeah. To stay in that uncomfort until it's not uncomfortable anymore. It's hard. We're always learning, always improving, always changing.
Yeah.
It's like, what's life without constant change and transition? It's like, I joked about the menopause thing, but it's like, once I go through menopause, guess what? That's not going to be the last transition in my life. I'm thinking of like, being an empty nester, and like, what will happen when my husband retires, and just like all of these stages that we go through. And when we're in the one that we're in, we just put so much pressure and weight on it to do it right, to do it successfully. But for me, I'm trying to do it in a way that I feel content. I feel proud. I feel creative. I feel full of love and fully loved. It's like, that's life. That's life.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you words of wisdom, and I think you just dropped them.
Oh, gosh.
Like, for people who are moving through, whether it be the obstacles, the challenges, maybe they're on that, how do I become soft? What are the ways that you have found? I mean, outside of maybe some movement, what are some other things that you are incorporating? Maybe you might think of them as rituals that are allowing you to take the pause, to slow, to be soft, to...
Yeah. Oh, I love the ritual of waking up before my kids wake up. It doesn't happen every day, but it's been happening more often than not lately. Thank you, brain health medication. And just have a quiet, dark house. I like to light a candle or two before I turn on any lights, and just like sit and let my body wake up before I accomplish anything. And then I make some coffee. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to drink my cup of coffee before my kids wake up. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I love candles. I love the softness of the light. And I've also started this ritual when we sit down as a family to eat at night. I light a stick candle, just like the one singular candle. And it's just the simplest, most beautiful way to honor that time of, we're sitting down, we're nourishing our bodies, and we're together. Sometimes it only lasts like 7 minutes, but still, like, that is a ritual for me. Journaling, kind of just like writing without thought, kind of just like blah, just like get it out on paper. Or just, lists of gratitude, lists of abundance in your life, realizing how privileged you are, how lucky you are, and acknowledging that and giving thanks for it. So gratitude journaling is a ritual. I love incense and sage. I'm a big believer in like energy cleansing, and my body like craves it. I realize in my work that I do, I touch a lot of different pieces of clothing in a shift. I mean, like probably, I don't know, some days 350, a lot. And if you're somebody like me who others' energy kind of magnetizes to you, I take that with me. So there are days when I'm like so exhausted after doing that because of the energy that I've picked up from the shoppers or the employees or the clothes themselves, the items that I'm physically touching. So it can be as simple as washing my hands, like mindfully washing my hands and saying, I release any energy that is not mine to carry. And just like acknowledging that and just like, okay. Or the smoke cleanse, just visualizing, this beautiful circle around you and getting rid of the thick stuff that's other people's that you've been hanging on to, So smoke is a big thing for me. As far as like how to soften, that's, oh man. Yoga. Go to yoga. Ask yourself what your biggest pressures are. What do you feel like the world puts on you? What do you feel like your circle or community expects of you that feels stressful? What do you put on yourself that feels like a heavy weight? And pay attention to your thoughts around those questions, because a lot of times they're black and white. And the script in your brain can be a lot more gentle and softer. I don't know how you do it. I wish somebody would tell me how to do it, but there's no right way, and everybody's different. Everybody's different, Some people might play the saxophone to feel soft, It's just like, it's this beautiful discovery of what you were raised to see and believe and do. And if you have like an opposite side in you that you haven't let come out much, like the yin side. And that's what's so beautiful about yoga. It just really challenges me to soften and to slow down. So grateful for it. So grateful for what you do. It makes a difference. It really does.
For me, when I'm in that state of inquiry of whether it be how to soften or how to give myself grace, how to move out of the constructs of society or my circle or the agreements I put on myself, right? Because a lot of times it is the inner narrative. It's what do I need to do more of that's going to fill my cup? What do I need to do less of? What do I need to start doing?
Yeah.
What do I need to stop doing?
Yes.
And just coming back to the, how do I express myself in the world?
Yeah. And when you were saying those things, I was literally visualizing like a chart with a line down the middle. This is what I need to do more of. I love doing this. I never do it. This is what I need to do less of. I do it all the time, but I freaking hate it every time I do it. So just, start there.
Yeah.
Start there. It's just like, it's like a perspective check of like, okay, we all get 24 hours in a day. How do you choose? How do you choose to use it? What do you do with it? Do you give yourself permission to make a frozen ice chandelier without your children present? Yes, you do. Because creating is like self-love for me. And it's a bonus if I can create something that I can then gift to someone else that I love. That is what makes my soul what it is. Those types of things. Mm-hmm. Not what I do for a paycheck, if I choose to get a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's so much more. Yeah. And I'm working on that. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. A couple months ago, everybody says, what do you do? What do you do? You meet somebody. What do you do? What if we changed the narrative there and said, I love to craft. I've taught myself how to crochet. I love to walk and hike. But automatically we're like, I work here. This is my title. Mm-hmm. Cool. But challenge yourself to be more than your job title.
Yeah. To be more than the labels and then sometimes the identity that we can then attach ourselves to.
Yes.
Yeah.
The identity thing was big for me, and that's why I put so much pressure on figuring it out. What is it? And then it was like, Kerri, it's not singular. And I was like, what?
And it's always shifting.
Yeah.
Life is change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What serves me now might not serve me again next year, but we'll see, won't we? Gonna be 40. So I think it is fascinating to me that I'm going through this, I don't know what to call it. Some people would call it a midlife crisis. I prefer a midlife awakening.
That's what I've called it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a midlife, what the hell are these thoughts that I've been having? No, this is what I'm going to fuel my body with and my brain with. I just keep sighing into the microphone.
And it comes, to me, it reminds me of the whole notion, yoga, this very ancient teaching, gives us absolutely no answers. What it does give us is the infinite inquiry, and to be able to step into that place of curiosity and exploration, and to be in the experiments of life and the experiments of your soul.
And to be playful.
Yeah.
That is a part of my core. People probably look at me often and think I am so goofy, or some people might say immature or whatever. Whatever. I'm going to go down the water slides, all of them. I'm going to jump on the trampoline. Yes, I am. I'm going to go to the trampoline park and I'm going to jump too. I might pee a little bit, but it's a part of the experimenting is allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to be playful. For no reason other than to just do something you've never done before. So playfulness is big for me too in this life stage. Just giving myself permission to play. Like this morning, make it. Yeah. You're home alone, make it. I did. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it.
I went sledding the other day. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yes. Sledding is another thing. Although last time I went sledding, my triceps were the sorest they've ever been from pushing myself up off of the sled. I couldn't figure out what I did. And I joked that I had sore muscles from crocheting, and people laughed at me, and I was like, it's from sledding. Again, playfulness. It keeps you young. It keeps that joy ignited in your body. And grown-ups forget how to do it, or they're taught you're too old to do it. Mm-hmm. I just like that. Yeah. More play.
Yeah. And to find those moments of joy and the sparks of happiness in every single day.
Yeah.
So no matter, again, where I am on that spectrum of sensation or feeling or emotion, okay, where's that spark of joy? Where's that moment of contentment?
Yeah. Both and again.
Yeah.
I can be having a really freaking hard day and still find joy in my day. If I allow it. It's a big shift.
So I know in this moment it is about being in this moment. And is there something you see on your horizon of maybe that you want to start doing? Or maybe it's a piece of you that maybe it's a time to revisit. Like for me, I know that I am a creative. I am an artist. I was an actor for much of my life, a performer for much of my life, a singer. And so that's a piece of me that I'm being like called back into, and like just being open to let's see how it emerges.
Yes.
So
you should sing in a yoga class.
You'll be happy to know that I have a harmonium coming to my house in about a week.
Oh,
so
my
that's part of an avenue that I'm exploring.
Right.
Is like, okay, let's because I think our community is ready for that, to like, okay, let's use our voice as a way to shake loose some of the shit.
I love that for you. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Nothing specifically sticks out in my brain. Just more play. Permission to be soft. Permission to be slow. Without giving a flying fart what society thinks about it. So, yeah. A lot of creating in my future, I guess. I'm on the lookout for a new she shed. I've been looking on Marketplace for a long time. And there are all sorts of sheds on Marketplace, but you have to move all of them yourself. And I don't have a truck.
So maybe, just maybe, someone listening.
Well, yeah, I know. Well,
who's got a big truck?
We just had contractors at our house over since Christmas. And I've been meaning to like reach out to them and plant the seed of like, hey, would you ever be interested in like building a shed? You know, like maybe because I can't find one, it's because I'm supposed to build one or have one built. But so possibly what I see on my horizon is creating more space for myself, more space and time and permission to play. Whatever that means.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Any last words of wisdom? I know that's a wide open question, infinite possibility.
What came to my brain is you are worthy of feeling phenomenal. You are worthy of healing. You are worthy of quitting and picking up something new. You are worthy of love. Kind of ending with the first question that you started with, like you are worthy of building and living your best life, your favorite life. We deserve that. We came to Earth for a reason. Why not make it a good trip around the sun?
Because we know we're only here for a very short time.
Yeah. So those are my parting words, I guess. Yeah. You are worthy.
Well, thank you, Kerri. Thank you for showing up and being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And speaking your truth.
Yes. Thank you for creating a safe space as you do so well. Thank you. And inviting that in. Not everybody has that presence and that capability. So,
yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
tea.
Yeah.
Well, it did just feel like a cup of tea, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was lovely.
Yeah. Thank you.
How did we do for time? I have no idea.
I don't know. I can probably. It's like 6:30-ish.
I didn't even